Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. Good
Okay,
eve
let me know when
good
you're ready.
okay. Good evening,
Sorry.
everybody. It's Tuesday, March 10th. It's great to see all of you out in the audience. The first item on our agenda is a roll call. June, are you able to do that?
Yes, I'll do the roll call. Council Member Buse,
Here.
Council Member Patel,
Here.
Fader. I'm sorry.
Here.
Council Member,
Here.
Council Member Hummel,
Oh, here.
Council Member York,
Here.
Council Member Waldman,
Here.
Andrew,
Here. All right. So the
City Manager Gibson.
Usually calls.
I'm
Here.
sorry,
no, go ahead, June. I apologize.
Here,
and City
June.
Attorney O'Keefe.
I'm here. Thank you.
The first item is what we call our open forum. So if there's anything that anybody in the audience would like to address us on that is not on the agenda. So if there's anything outside the agenda, you're welcome to step forward and speak with us now. I don't see anybody in the audience. Hopefully there's nobody online that's raising their hand. If not, we will go to the first item on our agenda, which is a public hearing. So I will open the public hearing and request proof of publication. It's a subdivision plat for 111 and 121 South Merrimack.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a public hearing and subsequent ordinance to consider approving a major subdivision plat for the boundary adjustment of two lots, including the relocation of an existing city alley. Both lots are zoned M3 High Density Mixed Use District. The developer is requesting that the city vacate a portion of the alley to allow for the relocation of utility connections and construction of a new ADA ramp for 121 South Merrimack Avenue. The developer proposes dedicating a 13-foot wide strip of property from the northern lot to the city, facilitating the maintenance of the east-west alley. The Plan Commission considered and recommended approval of the plat at their meeting on February 2nd, and staff recommends that the City Council conduct the public hearing and approve the ordinance.
Thank you. I will open the discussion. Are there any questions or comments from anybody at the City Council? Are there any questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Councilmember Buse.
I introduced bill number 7135, approving a subdivision plat boundary adjustment for 111 and 121 South Merrimack Avenue to be read for the first time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7135, first reading, an ordinance providing for the approval of a major subdivision plat for certain property known as 111 and 121 South Merrimack Avenue, and vacating and accepting dedication of right-of-way to relocate an alley in the city of Clayton, Missouri.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The vote passes 7-0. Councilmember Buse.
I move that the board give unanimous consent to consideration for adoption of bill number 7135 on the day of its introduction.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the minutes reflect that the board has given unanimous consent.
I introduced bill number 7135, approving a subdivision plat boundary adjustment for 111 and 121 South Merrimack Avenue to be read for the second time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7135, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance providing for the approval of a major subdivision plat for certain property known as 111 and 121 South Merrimack Avenue, and vacating and accepting dedication of right-of-way to relocate an alley in the city of Clayton, Missouri.
Councilmember Buse,
Aye.
Councilmember Patel,
Aye.
Councilmember Fader,
Aye.
Councilmember Hummel,
Aye.
Councilmember York,
Aye.
Councilmember Waldman,
Aye.
Mayor McAndrew.
Aye.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is our consent agenda. I'll open the discussion. Are there any questions or comments up here or in the audience?
Just had a minor question on the dump truck purchase orders. David, I wasn't sure in the memo, it was describing that we're, I think, in 2 different fiscal years. So is there a timing issue? I just wondered what was going on that necessitated it to come here. I don't have a problem with it. I just wondered what was
That's
going on.
exactly right. A truck that we were going to buy this year is delayed until next year. There's a truck we were going to buy next year. We can get this year. We want to go ahead and do that, but we also want to place the order for the truck we'll receive in 27 now. And that's why we're seeking the authorization for it, because we're essentially encumbering next year's budget with that purchase. As soon as we issue that purchase order, and we obviously haven't appropriated any money or gone through that budget process yet.
Okay, and the lead time is different. Is that just we're managing that lead time, or is the manufacturer adjusting the lead time?
I'll have our Director of Public Works come up. He may have a little more information on that.
And I was just curious. I know that when we were ordering fire equipment, we were talking about years. I just wondered if this is affecting other industries as well, like this one, the delays, or is this typical?
I wouldn't say it's typical for the last 5 years. They've come down a little bit, but there's still delays on everything from streetlights to dump trucks.
Okay, great. Thank you.
These are all in the capital improvement budget.
That's correct. They're all paid out of the equipment replacement fund that's funded by the capital fund.
And nothing surprising other than, I mean, the cost may be slightly different, but it's in line with what we were.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments on the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion?
Councilmember Buse? Oh, I'm
Aye.
sorry.
Aye.
Councilmember Patel?
Aye.
Councilmember Fader?
Aye.
Councilmember Hummel?
Aye.
Councilmember York?
Aye.
Councilmember Waldman?
Aye.
And Mayor McKinney?
Aye.
Thank
That
you.
did include, we approved the liquor license for the new Missouri Athletic Club. So if there's anybody in the audience that was for that, that has been approved, just in case. Great. The next item on our agenda is a resolution related to making Clayton a bird city.
I'll get this pulled up here. This is something that our Assistant City Manager, Myron Burr, has been working on. And we have our MIAC students here this evening too, that have been working with the Sustainability Committee. They're a big part of this because there's a requirement that you host an event related to World Migratory Bird Day. So they've been working on that portion of our application for Bird City. Really quickly, I'll tell you what Bird City is, and then I'm going to turn it over to our MIAC students to walk through this presentation here. Bird City, Missouri is part of the Bird City Network initiatives. The program works with communities to improve habitats, reduce threats to birds, engage people in bird conversation, and promote sustainability. Participation in the program will help us engage with similar-minded organizations and residents and provide access to additional resources. An officially enacted resolution supporting our community's designation as a bird city is required as a part of the application process. On recommendation from the Sustainability Advisory Committee, staff supports the decision to pursue Bird City, Missouri designation and adoption of the resolution. So we'll get to that business item in just a moment, but here this evening we have Lucinda Lloyd, Amelia Lewis, Sharon Hahn, and Tierney Sweeney from the Sustainability MIAC group. So I'll let you all take it away. There's actually in the drawer there in front of you, there's a mouse where you should be able to control this slide deck. If you slide that tray out, there we go. And then if the mic is green, then you're all good to go.
Okay, thank you for having us. So yeah, we as the MIAC members of the Sustainability Advisory Committee are planning World Migratory Bird Day on May 9th, 2026. And just, okay, so what we're planning to do is we are planning a bird walk through Oak Knoll Park. That was our final designated location. And yeah, it's going to be on a Saturday morning until around noon, and that's the main basis of it.
So we have Oak Knoll Park reserved for the full day, and we're still waiting to get the final times designated, but we're partnering with Missouri Bird Observatory, who's going to send over a couple of their birding experts to lead the walks around Oak Knoll Park. We're thinking about one every 30 minutes, and we're going to really target this at elementary schoolers and their families to make it a fun Saturday morning. Come out, hopefully it'll be nice outside to walk around, learn about the importance of migratory birds, how our lighting affects them, how dark skies affect them. And we will also, with potentially some other volunteers from the high school, be leading tables near the old houses in Oak Knoll Park or in the parking lot with birding crafts or informational flyers to hand out to parents, just as another way to spread awareness, get involvement, and to educate people about Bird City.
It's not scrolling. Oh, okay. So our main target is to elementary schoolers and parents. We want to advertise to the kids because not only is it important for today's adults to know about World Migratory Bird Day and the importance of keeping our birds safe, but it's important for the next generation to have this information as well. So we're planning to go to all the elementary schools to grab kids, and we'll also go over to like Forsyth, U City, and Brentwood areas because we really want to expand our reach to influence as many young kids as possible and their parents too.
Okay, so Amelia kind of covered this a little bit, but like we said, we're hoping to do some activities while the walk is kind of going on. So we hope to have at least all of us there, if not a couple more volunteers, to kind of do a bunch of things at once. And we also touched on it a little bit, but we're also aiming at parents, and we're hoping to get the word out sooner than later, just because we know that family schedules fill up pretty fast, even though it's in May, which seems pretty far away, but we're hoping to get the word out pretty soon. Okay. And then the main goal, as David said, is to help Clayton become a bird city. One of the things we have to do is acknowledge World Migratory Bird Day, but we also need to get residents of the city engaged and educated with world migratory, like birds in general. And this will help both of those steps in achieving becoming a bird city. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, any questions or comments?
One of the things I was going to say was for communication, we would certainly be able to help you with that. You know, we could put, once you guys know times, and then for sure that it's Oak Knoll, you know, we can put that in our Friday e-newsletter. Our communication person also communicates regularly with the school districts, so then they could put something in their Sunday, you know, school-wide email, you know, that school district email that goes out. You know, social media, obviously, too. So, yeah, just let us know once you iron out those details, and we could help with communication. So,
Thank you.
yeah. And that, does anybody else have any other questions? You guys did a great job.
I do. I'm really excited about this. Thanks for doing it. It's really important work. And I will just suggest that I think maybe even more expansively when we've done other activities, for example, when we dark skies and had professionals there with their telescopes, you get a wide range of ages coming, which I think is really great for Clayton. And making sure, and again, I'm sure the city can help with this, notices to the Clarendale and other places like that who may want to transport people over would bring that, I think, even more people to the event. And it's really exciting, and I very much appreciate your work on behalf of the city. Thanks.
I just want to thank you all for coming here and the work you put into this, and I look forward to the event.
I just want to tell you I'm a recent convert to birding. I was never a birder in the past, but about 10 days ago when we were out of the country in a rainforest, my wife convinced me we should join a group for a 6 a.m. tour of the rainforest to see birds, and it was a remarkable experience. And I thought, since this is a world event that you're talking about, I'm just as excited to see the birds locally as I was where I was previously. So anyway, congratulate you on what you're doing. It's very exciting.
Great. I don't have any questions. Thank you for your involvement and engagement. Appreciate it.
I just have one. So thank you. Like, I guess my question, I'll wait for David. I'm curious on the cost and what the obligations of the city may be going forward with this designation, if anything. Do we have a sense of cost for putting the event on, cost for renewing, like either of you, like in terms of
Nominal cost.
Okay.
No, they're just really looking for participants in the program. It's very similar to Tree City,
Okay.
where there's not a huge outlay to be a part of it. So we don't anticipate much.
We get a sign, like a Tree City sign? We get like a Bird City sign?
Not sure if it's a sign or a flag. I know that Tree City gives out flags and other things, but we'll see.
Well, thank you all. That was all I had. I just was curious on the.
Yeah, you guys did an awesome job. I think this was a really great idea to help, celebrate Bird Migratory Day, and your presentation was great. So nice job.
And for those in the audience too, MIAC is Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee. So there's a group of students that meet monthly, and all the different department heads kind of give talks to them on a monthly basis. We go visit the police station, the fire department, Public Works, Parks and Rec. David gave a big spiel on local government last month. And then they're assigned to different committees in the city. So this wonderful group of students follow sustainability. So, and Deb Grossman, who's in the back, does an unbelievable job chairing our sustainability committee. So she does a great job leading the committee, and I'm sure was very helpful to you all as well. So thank you, Tierney, Jaren, Lucinda, and Amelia. Thanks so much for all your hard work. All right. Councilmember Buse.
I move to approve resolution number 2026-02, supporting the Bird City designation.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The vote passes 7-0. The next item on our agenda, which we're going to move up a little bit, is an ordinance relating to a new event in Clayton, the Sababa Jewish Arts and Culture Festival.
Yes, the St. Louis Jewish Community Center and Contemporary Productions have proposed relocating the Sababa Jewish Arts and Culture Festival to the city of Clayton. This recurring regional event features food, art, and live entertainment and is intended to showcase regional inclusiveness while ensuring the continued viability of this cultural festival. The festival is a day-long event held annually on the third weekend in October, with setup beginning Friday and teardown completed by Monday. The event will take place on designated streets in a public parking lot in downtown Clayton and is expected to attract between 2,500 and 4,000 guests. The initial term is for 1 year, with options to extend for 2 additional terms of up to 5 years each upon mutual agreement. Contemporary Productions is responsible for all the logistics, including permits, staging, sound, vendors, entertainers, and private security and medical services. The agreement mandates the use of aluminum, paper, or reusable containers. Single-use plastic, water bottles, and styrofoam will be strictly prohibited. The producer must submit a comprehensive security and emergency operations plan to the Clayton Police and Fire Departments at least 60 days prior to the event. While the city will provide public safety and public works personnel, the producer is required to reimburse the city for those services. Staff recommends that the city council approve a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a production agreement with Contemporary Productions to host the Sababa Jewish Arts and Cultural Festival in downtown Clayton starting in October 2026. One thing I do want to clarify is in the report, I talk about the teardown happening on Monday or completed by Monday. It will be partially done by Monday, and it looks like half of the lot will still be utilized by the group. We've worked that out with St. Louis County, so they'll need to rent half of the meters in that parking lot on Monday as they get the rest of the equipment off of the site. But there will be enough parking to facilitate court activities and the county administration building. With that, we do have representatives here from Contemporary Productions and the Jewish Community Center. So available to answer any questions you have.
Sounds good. Thank you. I'll open the discussion. Are there any questions or comments up here?
I know the only comment I had, I'm looking forward to the event very much. And with the agreement, I kind of looked at with an eye of a model for other groups as well, and making sure that we had things that were tight. And David, you're very responsive in answering my questions, things like the use of the parking lot into Monday. We have county consent for that to happen and all that, and that there's trash and recycling that will be happening. So yeah, it all looks great, and I look forward to us moving forward with this.
No questions. Thanks.
I missed the presentation when it was made previously. I was birding at the time. But in any event, I have been able to catch up on the event and all the details. I'm very excited this event is coming to Clayton. I think when I looked at the minutes, there was some suggestion that we ought to have sort of a standard sort of criteria when we approve events, which I don't know that we have. And I think I talked to David, maybe that's something we would want to generate. But I think this particular presentation would be a model for the kinds of things that we would want to have in the future. I think all the potential boxes that need to be checked to make it a worthwhile event, both for the sponsor and for the city, all of those would be checked in this case. So it's an exciting event. I think it's good for Clayton and good for the community, and I'm very pleased we're sponsoring it here in Clayton.
I continue to be supportive of the overall event. My concern was focused on any negotiations with St. Louis County. And so I'm wondering, David, if there were any particular accommodations or conditions that the county demanded or asked for.
They did not. As long as they have half of the lot available to them that following Monday, then they were okay with this event proceeding. So,
okay, great. Thank you.
I don't have any questions. I'm good.
Yeah, no questions. Just excited for this event to take place.
Yep. Are there any questions or comments from the audience? I don't think there's anybody online. No. I too am very excited about the event. So thank you to all of you who brought it to Clayton and have made it just an exciting opportunity for us. So thank you. Councilmember Buse.
I introduce Bill number 7142, authorizing a production agreement with Contemporary Productions for the Sababa Jewish Arts and Culture Festival to be read for the first time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7142, first reading, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a production agreement with Contemporary Productions for the hosting of the Sababa Jewish Arts and Culture Festival.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the council give unanimous consent to consideration for adoption of Bill number 7142 on the day of its introduction.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The vote passes 7-0. Let the minutes reflect that the council has given unanimous consent.
I introduce Bill number 7142, authorizing a production agreement with Contemporary Productions for the Sababa Jewish Arts and Culture Festival to be read for the second time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7142, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a production agreement with Contemporary Productions for the hosting of the Sababa Jewish Arts and Culture Festival.
Councilmember Buse.
Aye.
Councilmember Patel.
Aye.
Councilmember Fader.
Aye.
Councilmember Hummel.
Aye.
Councilmember York.
Aye.
Councilmember Waldman.
Aye.
Mayor McAndrew.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will go back up to the top of our new business. And the next item on our agenda is an ordinance related to the authorization of the issuance of taxable industrial revenue bonds at 121 South Merrimack.
yes, School Lot Development LLC is requesting the issuance of revenue bonds to fund the acquisition and renovation of the property at 121 South Merrimack Avenue. The project aims to convert the existing building into approximately 118 market rate apartments with related amenities. The attached ordinance would authorize the city to issue taxable industrial revenue bonds and a principal amount not to exceed $60 million. These bonds will provide funds for the cost of acquiring, constructing, and improving the facility. The bonds are limited obligations of the city, payable solely from revenues derived from a lease agreement with the company. They do not constitute a general obligation or an indebtedness of the city and are not payable through taxation. A plan for an industrial development project and tax impact analysis has been prepared for consideration by the City Council. In consideration of the bond issuance, the city will enter into a performance agreement to make certain payments in lieu of taxes or pilots to the city. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance authorizing the city to issue the Series 2026 bonds and execute all related documents. Here this evening is Doug Rasmussen with Steadfast City, Michael Knight, the developer of the property, is in the back of the room, and Mark Grimm, our bond counsel, is here as well this evening to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. I'll open the discussion. Are there any questions or comments from up here?
And quickly, Mayor, if I could,
Yep.
for this item, I do want to clarify too, tonight will just be a first reading of the ordinance. So we will hold this over to the 24th for the second reading and passage.
Thank you. No.
You have it?
Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to comment that in the 5 years I've been on the board council, we have not considered, we have considered, of course, but not moved forward with any tax incentives like this. And I think that as we reviewed this project, the opportunity that the developer is bringing and what's happening, it is actually a really great example of how we can work together to increase like productive use of the city of Clayton, basically. So for me, the things that make this easy to say yes to are that we're reusing an existing building, which I think is wonderful. I would love to see that happen with a lot of our buildings going forward. The pilot that will be paid is not less than what we make today on the assessed value of the property. And that's only for 5 years that it has a limited duration. So all of those things together, I think, make it really easy to say yes. And I'm excited that the developer is here and willing to turn this building into productive use and look forward to it. Thanks.
Thank you. Well said.
Well, I would agree with a lot of those comments. It is, I think, a unique project for Clayton. I think it's a good example of what would justify some type of incentives in the future, as it does for this project, and particularly the concept of preserving an existing and at least in some ways clearly a historic building is exactly what we ought to do when we have those opportunities, and we don't have many. I don't think there are many examples even going forward where we could preserve buildings of this stature. And so I think whatever we have done, there's been a lot of negotiations over a long period of time. And I think what has, if you will, the deal has been struck is fair to the developer, fair to the city, and I think really beneficial to our residents, many of whom, at least in our ward, which includes downtown, often say, you know, why can't you keep some of these buildings? And rarely the economics just don't work. But in this case, I'm glad they did. And so really look forward to the 7-Up building coming back. Thank you.
Thank you.
So my questions are about order and timing on this. So in the documents, the plan for the industrial development project highlights the fact that if the abatement and or pilots are approved. And so given that we haven't done that, that's appropriately stated. My question is when does that occur? At this point, we are just approving the revenue bonds, correct? Or are we approving the pilots and or abatement as well with this?
Approving all of that with this ordinance. So those are all attached as exhibits.
Okay,
So there are exhibits A through F that are all attached to the ordinance. All of those would be approved by the ordinance. So we would execute, if the ordinance is approved, we will execute all of those documents. So that's the plan, the trust indenture, the lease agreement, the special warranty deed, bond purchase agreement, and then that performance agreement.
I want to be clear what we're approving. Okay, thank you. And then there's obviously a tremendous amount of documentation to support all this. And while there are unique terms and conditions about this particular project, is there anything unusual in the overall bond documentation that we're looking at that would deviate from any other taxable industrial revenue bond, other than things unique to this project? Okay. I don't have any other questions about this.
I know, David, you answered this question a little for me earlier, but whether I answer it now or ask it later, could somebody walk me through all the different parties? There's a Clayton Ventures that's being talked about. There's school lot development being talked about. Can you walk me through like who these parties are and when they're taking effect? Because right when you get to the lease later, Clayton Ventures shows up. So if you could just do that, that'd be helpful.
Sure. Michael, do you want to take that one? Thank you.
Doug, is the microphone on? Is that? I just wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Michael Knight with the development team. So the current partnership that owns the property is Clayton City Venture. The development entity and the future owner that is going to actually develop the site is the school lot development, which is a little play on the fact that that's the old school lot subdivision of the original Clayton township. So Clayton City Venture is selling this arm's length to school lot development, which is my existing partnership that is going to do the project. And actually, we started demolition last week.
Okay. So does that mean that the lease will then be assigned over? Okay.
Correct.
And do we need to approve that, or that's once we approve the lease with City Ventures, they'll just do that on the normal course? Okay. Okay, that's helpful. I was just trying to understand because I was reading all the documents, it was referencing one and then the other, and then if they acquire it and if they don't, I was getting myself a little spun around. So, okay, thanks.
No comments. I think Councilmember Patel said it very well. Just excited to keep a building in Ward 3 and to see what you guys can do with it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I will just say we appreciate the negotiations, and I'm also excited to rehabilitate this building and make it into a place that will make downtown Clayton even more vibrant and into more of a neighborhood, than it is now, which we're all looking forward to. So thank you both. So
Thank you.
Anybody online? No. Any other questions or comments from the audience? Councilmember Buse.
I introduced Bill number 7136, authorization of the issuance of the taxable industrial revenue bonds for 121 South Merrimack project, Series 2026, to be read for the first time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7136, first reading. An ordinance authorizing the city of Clayton, Missouri to issue its taxable industrial revenue bonds 121 South Merrimack project, Series 2026, in a principal amount not to exceed $60 million for the purpose of providing funds to pay the costs of acquiring, constructing, and improving a facility for an industrial development project in the city, approving a plan for the project, and authorizing the city to enter into certain agreements and take certain other actions in connection with the issuance of the bonds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Then we'll do the second reading in a couple of weeks. The next item on our agenda is also related to 121 South Merrimack. It's the parking lease and the loading dock agreement.
Yes, Clayton City Ventures LLC is renovating the office building at 121 South Merrimack Avenue into approximately 118 residential apartments and ground floor commercial space. The project requires 80 parking spaces in the city's Brentwood garage. The spaces will be rented at the prevailing market rate until 2075. Because a prior lease for the site with Revive Capital Development LLC has lapsed, a mutual memorandum of lapse and termination would be prudent to avoid any misunderstanding or dispute with respect to the status of that agreement. As part of the lease terms, the tenant is granted a revocable license to use the Brentwood Garage loading dock. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute the agreements attached as Exhibits A, B, and C.
Thank you. I'll open the discussion. Are there any questions or comments from anyone up here?
Thank you.
Just a question regarding the loading dock. I'm just not familiar with this loading dock, and are there other users of this loading dock, or is this something that would be unique for this building?
I believe that Clayton on the Park currently uses that dock from time to time. But it's in our actual parking garage. If you're driving up that alley, it's on the it's on the northwest corner of that building,
So
northeast corner of that building.
I just want to make sure that we aren't denying any other users with this agreement
We are not.
access to it. This is just allowing them access.
That's correct.
Okay.
The only thing I would say, and it's something for just us to think about, and I think David and I talked about, like at some point we probably should talk about some sort of sinking fund, even though this isn't a ton of money, but we need to start thinking about maintaining the parking garage. And if some of this money is not currently banked on, it'd be nice to talk about, do we want to start that, knowing what's coming? So less for you guys and just more for us, kind of an administrative thing. So otherwise I'm fine.
No comment.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the audience? Councilmember Buse?
I introduce bill number 7137, authorizing a parking lease, mutual memorandum of lapse and termination, and loading dock agreement for 121 South Merrimack Avenue to be read for the first time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney?
Bill number 7137, first reading, an ordinance approving and authorizing execution of a parking lease agreement with Clayton City Ventures LLC and related mutual memorandum of lapse and termination and loading dock use and maintenance agreement.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Buse?
I move that the council give unanimous consent to consideration for adoption of bill number 7137 on the day of its introduction.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The vote passes 7-0. Let the minutes reflect that the council has given unanimous consent. Councilmember Buse?
I introduce bill number 7137, authorizing a parking lease, mutual memorandum of lapse and termination, and loading dock agreement for 121 South Merrimack Avenue to be read for the second time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney?
Bill number 7137, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance approving and authorizing execution of a parking lease agreement with Clayton City Ventures LLC and a related mutual memorandum of lapse and termination and loading dock use and maintenance agreement.
Councilmember Buse?
Aye.
Councilmember Patel?
Aye.
Councilmember Fader?
Aye.
Councilmember Hummel?
Aye.
Councilmember York?
Aye.
Councilmember Waldman?
Aye.
Mayor McAndrew?
Aye.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is a resolution related to the parking ratio for 121 South Merrimack.
Yes, this is a request to consider an application for a renovation of the property address 121 South Merrimack Avenue as a mixed-use development with a parking ratio established by a parking study. The project consists of the renovation of the structure to house residential and office uses. The structure would contain 118 apartment units, 1,120 square feet of office space, and 96 on-site parking spaces. The applicant proposes a parking ratio of 1.35 spaces per dwelling unit, exceeding the parking study requirement on the same property from 2023. To be conservative and ensure adequate parking, the applicant proposes that the city assume they will only have 80 on-site parking spaces and will provide an additional 80 parking spaces via a lease at the adjacent city-owned garage for a total of 160 spaces. On February 2nd, 2026, the Plan Commission and Architectural Review Board approved the plans for this redevelopment project on the subject property. Staff recommends that the City Council approve a modified parking ratio for the subject development per the conditions outlined in the resolution.
Thank you. I'll open the discussion. Are there any questions or comments from the council?
I move to approve
One
resolution.
sec, sorry, 1 second. Any questions or comments?
I had a couple questions.
Mhm.
So, I guess I'm wondering, just to be clear, the code says 236, they're proposing 160, so it's not in conformance with the code. But we had a parking study that said that they only needed 154. So while we don't have a new parking study, we're thinking that there are a sufficient number of parking spots. And so we are asking for an amendment because we didn't get the parking study.
We would need this either way, whether we had the study or not.
But we're saying it's a good idea
Correct.
because we're relying on this other parking
That's
study.
correct. And the parking study is really tailoring the number of spaces in the building to the unit makeup within the building itself. So we have, this building isn't loaded with 2-bedroom apartments and 3-bedroom apartments where you would typically see 2 vehicles per unit. So in this particular case, it makes sense to have a ratio that's lower than 2, and that requires the council approval.
And so we go through this, I presume, because we want to make sure that there is adequate parking for whatever buildings are constructed in our community. So my question is what would happen if it's in retrospect determined that there were insufficient spots? Could the tenants just park in here without us getting lease income from the parking garage? Could that occur? Or what if any, downside is there?
I think the downside would probably be to the owner of the building or that management company dealing with those particular tenants that don't have a place to park. So I imagine if they're short on the number of spaces they actually need, we would probably hear from them down the road on it. As far as where those cars might go in the meantime, it's hard to say whether they're going to pay an hourly rate or find a spot on a street somewhere. But I imagine it would make doing business difficult in the building if tenants couldn't park.
Thank you.
I'm assuming the case, but I'm going to look at you guys. I assume you're okay with the number of parking spots that are in here. Like looks sufficient.
So again, we have 80 in the space next to you. We have 96 total in the building. So working with the previous parking study with P&Z, we have a buffer of about 15 additional spaces that we're providing now through our own parking garage by expanding that. So, I mean, to his point, we have a lot of 1-bedrooms, studios, and some 2-bedrooms. Based on the parking study, we're at a 1.35. We're actually carrying about a 1.6. So we should be more than sufficient.
And you're close to the train.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to encourage public transit, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Hey, I move to approve resolution number 2026-03, to approve an application for renovation of the property address 121 South Merrimack Avenue as a mixed-use development with the parking ratio established by a parking study.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The vote passes 7-0. All right, you're on your way.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is an ordinance related to some salary range adjustments for our employees.
Yes, in fiscal year 23, the city engaged a consultant to conduct a comprehensive compensation study for all full-time employees. The city council approved a new compensation system targeting the 85th percentile of our comparator cities. With council approval, these adjustments, these annual market adjustments may occur each April to align with market trends. During fiscal year 25, comparator cities had a median increase of 2.5%, and the city council subsequently approved a 2.5% increase that was applied to the non-represented, which means non-union, pay ranges at the mid-year. It is important for the city to keep pace with our comparators to maintain our competitive positioning in the labor market. Competitive pay is essential to attract and retain high-quality employees, reduce turnover, and ensure continuity of operations. The fiscal year 26 budget currently includes a 2% adjustment to non-represented salary ranges. The budgeted 2% range adjustment will cost approximately $95,670 to implement. Based on our survey results, the median range adjustment for the comparator cities was 2.5%. adjusting the non-represented salary ranges for fiscal year 26 by 2.5% rather than 2% would cost an additional $23,917. This amount would be included in a future fiscal year 26 budget amendment. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance adopting a 2.5% increase to non-represented salary ranges effective April 1st, 2026.
Thank you. I'll open the discussion. Are there any questions or comments from the council?
I have a question. David, can you remind us how you and the staff identified the average range adjustment in the comparator cities? Like, is that through publicly available data or
Yeah, I can provide that
personal?
to the council if you'd like, but we've got that information from other cities by inquiring with them what they've done with those adjustments. Creve Coeur does a really good job of every year polling everybody to see what those increases have been. And then they share that information with every city that participates in that response. So that's what we were going off of is basically just shared information with these other cities. But that compilation from Creve Coeur and focusing solely on what the cost of living increase was, or the COLA, cost of living adjustment, or range adjustments that they did. So their employees are also getting either merit increases or steps, but we really wanted to see what they were doing with their ranges overall. So that's where we get our information, though. It's just sharing it with our peers.
Full inquiry and
Yeah, and then
conversation.
as you could see in the packet here, we pick out the specific comparators that we used in that last compensation study. So there's a lot of information that's in that study that we don't utilize, just to be consistent. Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other? Okay. Councilmember Buse.
I introduce bill number 7138, approving the fiscal year 2026 non-represented salary range adjustments to be read for the first time by title only.
Okay.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7138, first reading. An ordinance adopting fiscal year 2026 non-represented salary range adjustments.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Buse.
I move that the council give unanimous consent to consideration for adoption of bill number 7138 on the day of its introduction.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The vote passes 7-0. Let the minutes reflect that the council has given unanimous consent.
I introduce bill number 7138, approving the fiscal year 2026 non-represented salary range adjustments to be read for the second time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7138, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance adopting fiscal year 2026 non-represented salary range adjustments.
Councilmember Buse,
Aye.
Councilmember Patel,
Aye.
Councilmember Fader,
Aye.
Councilmember Hummel,
Aye.
Councilmember York,
Aye.
Councilmember Waldman,
Aye.
Mayor McAndrew.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, Justin, you're up. Couple of park projects. Next item on our agenda is Oak Knoll, some new lights at Oak Knoll Park.
Yes, contained within the fiscal year 26 capital improvement budget is a lighting replacement project in Oak Knoll Park, including replacement of the current poles and luminaires along the main trail, as well as adding the same lighting and fixtures along the pathway on the west side of the park. The proposed design and fixtures have been submitted to Dark Sky staff and have been deemed compliant. Upgrading to LED lighting in Oak Knoll Park will enhance public safety, promote environmental stewardship, and improve community well-being, all while remaining cost-effective. Staff had reviewed the project specifications and scope of work for the proposal and believe that Burns & Jones Sports Construction is well qualified to complete the project. Burns & Jones does participate in TIPS, which is a nationwide purchasing cooperative designed to be a procurement resource for government agencies and nonprofits. The total project budget is $418,795, with $160,130 being funded by the capital fund and $256,665 in municipal park grant funds. Due to the scope of the project, staff recommends a 5% contingency to account for the potential site-specific challenges. At this time, there's a 14 to 16-week lead time on the poles, so we are optimistic that the entire project will be completed by August 1st, 2026, that's an important date because that's when you would apply for the next round of municipal grant funds. And so we've got other projects that we've identified for that. So we really need to hustle on these lights. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance authorizing the contract with Burn and Jones Sports Construction and the amount of $430,660 plus a 5% contingency of $21,500 for the lighting replacement project at Oak Knoll Park. And as the mayor stated, Justin Whipple is here, our parks superintendent, if you have any questions.
I will open the discussion. Are there any questions or comments from the council?
Just a comment, thank you, to get the dark sky compliance along with the community and the safety, and everything is really great. I'm looking forward to seeing that done on behalf of the park and everyone around there. Thanks.
My question was just about the funding source, and you answered making sure that it didn't have impact in terms of other ability to get grants, or at least that's our goal and objective. Just refresh my memory, though. Is it that we can have, how many grants can we have out at a time? Just give me an idea on how that program works.
You can have two $525,000 grants at any given time. Right now, we have two grants. One of them is the Oak Knoll Park project, and the other one is the Shaw Park Tennis Center lighting project. Tennis Center lighting we've run into some contractor delays over there. We're hoping to get that on the agenda on maybe the 24th. That's looking promising to get that on, but we need those projects completed before we can apply for the next round of municipal park grants. But we try to leverage our projects, anywhere we can.
Right. So in terms of impact, in addition to the timing, then in terms of when we want to make an application, I'm anticipating whether it's for Shaw Park's project or other ones, we've got other things lined up ready to make application as well.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I recognize it's sort of a subjective question, but are these lights needed or do we want them?
They are needed. So this is a project that we've had scheduled for some time that's been working its way through the CIP, and then we aligned the municipal park grant funding along with this.
So when we say needed, it means like they don't work, they're not bright enough.
So that they're 40 years old at this point, and
yeah, the system's 40 years old. So 5 years ago, we redid the parking lot and upgraded the lighting to LED there. So this is the strip of lights running down to the bus stop on Clayton Road.
Okay.
And they're the 40-year-old concrete poles with no shielding, so they're not dark sky compliant, and they're shining into the neighborhoods and all that. So
Gotcha. Okay. I just any kind of these kind of things come up. I'm just curious as to at what point are we doing it because we want to and we can, as opposed to like none of them work or things like that. So okay.
it's also upgrading the infrastructure that's feeding the parking lot. So we've had some lighting issues the last couple of years with the parking lot related to the transformers feeding it and all the 30-year-old cables. So this will update all that as well.
Well, so we'll have conduit laid for the cables then? Because I don't know if they're down, but I know like we talked about in our neighborhoods, a lot of the lights don't have conduit at all if the lights are, so that'll all be taken care of as part of this?
Correct. Yeah, right now it's all direct burial
Yeah.
cable, and this is going to be in conduit.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Buse.
I introduced bill number 7139, approving a contract with Burn and Jones Sports Construction for the lighting replacement project at Oak Knoll Park, to be read for the first time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7139, first reading, an ordinance approving a contract with Burn and Jones Sports Construction for the lighting replacement project at Shaw Park Tennis Center.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oak Knoll. Okay. I move the council give unanimous consent to consideration for adoption of bill number 7139 on the day of its introduction.
Yeah, the agenda and the ordinance might be inconsistent as it relates to.
Right, I believe the ordinance should recite Oak Knoll Park as opposed to Shaw Park.
Yeah, it looks like the body is fine, but.
yeah, we'll limit
Right.
the title.
It's a Scrivener's error, and we'll read it right the next time and correct it on the execution draft.
Where were we at?
I think Councilmember Buse. The unanimous consent part.
Okay, right. I move that the council give unanimous consent to consideration for adoption of bill number 7139 on the day of its introduction.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The vote passes 7-0. Let the minutes reflect that the council has given unanimous consent.
I introduce bill number 7139, approving a contract with Byrne and Jones Sports Construction for the lighting replacement project at Oak Knoll Park, to be read for the second time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7139, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance approving a contract with Byrne and Jones Sports Construction for the lighting replacement project at Oak Knoll Park Tennis Center.
No 10.
It's Oak Knoll Park is not a tennis center. It is just the park.
Councilmember Hughes,
Oh, you want to put a tennis center?
Councilmember Patel. I'm
Aye.
sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Councilmember Fader,
Join the club.
Say it again. Say it again.
Councilmember Hummel,
Aye.
Councilmember York,
Aye.
Councilmember Waldman,
Aye.
Mayor McAndrew.
Aye. All right, the next item on our agenda is some new pool grates for the Shaw Park Aquatic Center.
Yes, included in the fiscal year 26 equipment replacement fund budget is a project to remove and replace the perimeter overflow pool grating in both the competition pool and dive tank at the Shaw Park Aquatic Center. Scope of work consists of the removal and disposal of the old perimeter grating, installation of the new grating that is appropriate for use at an outdoor municipal aquatic facility. These grates are intended to be replaced every 10 years and were last replaced in 2014. Staff have reviewed the project specs and scope of work for the proposal and believe that Byrne and Jones Sports Construction is well qualified to complete the project. Again, they are a part of a cooperative. Funding for this project has been included in the city's capital budget for fiscal year 26 in the amount of $100,000. The total cost of the project is quoted at $93,700. It is recommended that a 5% contingency of $4,700 is included to cover any expenditures to correct unknown issues. Once approved, lead time to receive the grates is currently 6 to 8 weeks, with installation following at 7 to 10 days. The project will be complete prior to the opening of the season on May 23rd, 2026. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance authorizing the contract with Byrne and Jones Sports Construction in the amount of $93,700, plus a 5% contingency of $4,700 for the replacement of the pool grates at Shaw Park Aquatic Center.
Thank you. I'll open the discussion. Are there any questions or comments from the council?
Yeah, I would just note, this is an example of staff identifying the ability to defer a capital project. And it's always great to see them come in under what we budgeted, so.
Yeah, this one we had to defer for a couple years because we were short. So
Yeah.
we're glad we could get it done.
Amen.
Was there, because it's the same company doing both projects, was there any discount, or was that factored in when they quoted, or did we go to bid separately for both of them?
We did not go to bid because we went through the cooperative purchasing for it.
Okay.
So those rates are already competitively bid, and then we got an 8% discount on top of that price.
Great, thank you.
No comment.
I spoke to a Cub Scout troop last night, or scout, and it's not a scout troop last night. And most of them, because they needed to talk to an elected official to get a badge. And I asked them what their favorite thing to do was in Clayton, and almost all of them said to go to the pool. And so I was giving them examples of what we were going to talk about at our meeting. And I said, for instance, we're getting new grates at Shaw Park. And they were all concerned that it would be done before the season started. And they also wondered what color they were going to be. So Justin, would you happen to know the answer to that question? I said that I'd try to find out.
Yes, they'll be white.
The white, that's what.
And with it should be in before the pool opens.
Okay. Thank you.
I apologize for my confidence.
That's after you.
That's right.
No, yeah. Thank you. Councilmember Buse.
I introduce Bill number 7140, approving a contract with Byrne and Jones Sports Construction for the Shaw Park Aquatic Center pool grates in white. Replacement project to be read for the first time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7140, first reading, an ordinance approving a contract with Byrne and Jones Sports Construction for replacement of the pool grates at Oak Knoll Park Tennis Center. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
At Shaw Park Aquatic Center.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Make sure everybody's listening.
I move that the council give unanimous consent to consideration for adoption of Bill number 7140 on the day of its introduction.
second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The vote passes 7-0. Let the minutes reflect that the council has given unanimous consent.
I introduce Bill number 7140, approving a contract with Byrne and Jones Sports Construction for the Shaw Park Aquatic Center pool grates replacement project to be read for the second time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7140, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance approving a contract with Byrne and Jones Sports Construction for replacement of the pool grates at Shaw Park Aquatic Center.
Councilmember Buse,
Aye.
Councilmember Patel,
Aye.
Councilmember Fader,
Aye.
Councilmember Hummel,
Aye.
Councilmember York,
Aye.
Councilmember Waldman,
Aye.
Mayor McAndrew.
Aye.
Thank you.
The last item on our agenda is a task order for some OMCI stormwater improvements.
Yes, in September of 2023, the city of Clayton entered into an on-call services agreement with Oates Associates Incorporated to provide stormwater management and low-impact development services. As part of our ongoing maintenance operations, the Public Works Department is seeking an engineering consultant to investigate the causes of and design solutions for 3 recurrent stormwater flooding issues in the city of Clayton. In September of 2025, the City Council approved intergovernmental agreements with the Metropolitan Sewer District, or MSD, to provide funding through their Operation Maintenance Construction Improvement, or OMCI program, for 3 projects up to 100% of the approved cost, including engineering and construction. A total of $359,500 was approved by MSD for the Wydown Boulevard, Francis Place, and West Polo Drive stormwater issues. This total included estimated design fees of $46,889. The estimated fee for the proposed scope of services from Oates Associates is $64,800. We're also requesting a contingency of $5,200 to cover any additional services or services deemed necessary to successfully complete the project. Staff is requesting funding in the amount of $70,000 to complete the engineering design for this project. It is anticipated that 100% of the cost of the project will be reimbursed through MSD's OMCI program. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance.
Thank you. I'll open the discussion. Any questions or comments from the council?
I just want to understand, it sounds like MSD intends to actually pay for this project, but we have to do it first and they reimburse us?
Yes, so this project, prior to Prop S being approved by MSD almost 2 years ago now, OMCI districts were taxing in certain areas, and we had a fund balance that we could utilize for projects. Late last year, we developed projects with cost estimates that we submitted for MSD approval. That's what we brought before you in September. Those were approved. This is just one component now of that, the design. We still are going to get some OMCI funds going forward, as well as the Prop S money, and we'll have continued balance. So if we go out to bid, for instance, and prices come in higher, we just go back to MSD and say, okay, we want to amend the agreement, and we pay for it, we construct it, they reimburse us after the fact once we submit all of the required documentation.
Okay, so it is like they've already agreed to this general scope of work and they have the funds to reimburse us for the work that we do in these funds. And like, for example, the estimated design fee in the MSD approval was 46,000, but this is a design for 64, which is more, but we'll be able to get that back.
Right, that's our intent. It will depend on how bids come in to whether or not we exceed the 359, and then we may have to pursue an amendment with
Okay.
MSD to the agreement. But some additional survey was needing to be collected to meet MSD requirements based on what we had already collected during conceptual design that we kind of did in-house,
Great.
which led to that difference.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
I think this is great that we're getting this addressed. I'm wondering more about the what the potential impact may be, both as a benefit, but any construction issues for any of our major infrastructure, and like Wydown, or do any of these streets need to close as a result of this? What will be the impact?
So the design is yet to be complete, so we
don't even
don't
know that
know
yet.
exactly where the scope or the limits of construction would be, but with any of these, usually you might be dealing with a trench that would be a plate at the end of the day, type of construction. There, we don't anticipate any long-term closures. These are very localized in nature. The total impact to the surrounding properties will be determined with the design, but it's probably going to be some areas of recreating a roadway, adding an inlet to connect to an existing sewer, those type of smaller projects.
I was mostly concerned with Wydown, just in terms of rush hour traffic, and
Yeah.
was there any impact there? So I understand you don't know yet, but okay, thanks.
Yeah, we wouldn't allow it, we would consider the project if it came to a long-term closure for something like this. We just don't anticipate that.
Matt, just a reminder, the project on Topton, will that also use OMCI funds?
Kind of. It used something called the Central Fund that was collected in the city of Clayton. It's been
Okay.
sitting for a while. MSD is administering that project and will carry out the design and construction of it. We actually just received plans this week from MSD for our comments on them.
Okay.
So they are proceeding with that. I think that had a fiscal year 28 construction date for them.
Right. I'm glad to hear that things are happening though. So that's great. And I know the residents have seen people out there. So
Yep.
it's great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Councilmember Buse.
I introduced Bill number 7141, approving a task order with Oates Associates Incorporated for the OMCI Operation Maintenance Construction Improvement, Stormwater Improvements project to be read for the first time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7141, first reading, an ordinance approving a task order with Oates Associates Incorporated for the city of Clayton OMCI Stormwater Improvements fiscal year 26 project.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Buse.
I move that the council give unanimous consent to consideration for adoption of Bill number 7141 on the day of its introduction.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The vote passes 7-0. Let the minutes reflect that the council has given unanimous consent.
I introduced Bill number 7141, approving a task order with Oates Associates Incorporated for the OMCI Stormwater Improvements project to be read for the second time by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. City Attorney.
Bill number 7141, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance approving a task order with Oates Associates Incorporated for the city of Clayton OMCI Stormwater Improvements fiscal year 26 project.
Councilmember Buse,
Aye.
Councilmember Patel,
Aye.
Councilmember Fader,
Aye.
Councilmember Hummel,
Aye.
Councilmember Yord,
Aye.
Councilmember Waldman,
Aye.
Mayor McAndrew.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we have come to the end of our agenda. Jack Laitman back there, he's part of MIAC. You made it through the whole thing. Do we want to do a short roundtable? If anybody has anything to report on? We can start with Councilmember Waldman.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Sorry, I should have. I should have, we can start, we can go back to, the beginning.
I was gonna say, because
I feel like, because then by the end, like there's nothing to.
accurate. I was just counting.
I know you went to Cool Cities last week. So.
No, I didn't. I wasn't there.
Oh, you didn't go?
No, but I guess we just had our Parks and Rec meeting, and so I was just gonna say what Councilmember Patel said. But they just kind of went over their capital projects, which a lot of that we discussed here. So that was really the main takeaway from those meetings. But it's exciting to see things actually happening and getting done. And I know that they're looking to the future for some other renovations on fields and things like that. So, but that's really it.
Great. No, thanks.
Even though I normally just say what Rick says and I'm going before Rick, I'll probably
That's what
say,
this was mainly to
I'll
make sure
probably-
that you have plenty to say.
I'll probably punt to Rick anyway. We had the initial Citizen Finance Committee meeting, and we did a lot of the administrative, like pick a chair and all that. But good group of you said, I think there's some very engaged residents who are open to various different options, whether that be revenue, whether that be generating new revenue, various different ways, thinking about spending. And I think it's going to be a good group where they're not going to be shy, but they're also not going to be open-minded on that. So I think it'll be good feedback. I think we're all kind of figuring out how we're going to use it, like those of you on the new Economic Development Board, but I'm glad we have it. The only thing anecdotal is I've been asked multiple times in the last couple of weeks about when the Shaw Park renovation is going to happen and is it really going to happen and how great it was. So as those of you who've been really putting a lot of time in for it, apparently people seem to like the plans, which is good. And I've told them we're kind of, once some of the FEMA money shows up, we'll have a better sense of timing of when it's going to be built and that sort of stuff. But we're in the design phase. So that's what I got.
Can you clarify your statement about describing the committee where you use the term open-minded? I think you actually did a double negative.
I did.
So you are open-minded.
Right, but I originally was going to say was they're not closed-minded, and that didn't seem to go well. So then I said they're not.
Not open.
Yes, open-minded for all of you that may be listening up there from the committee. Yes, an open-mindedness to be thinking about whether it's taxes, whether it's economic development growth, whether it's cuts. Like I think they all generally understand the situation we're in at a really high level, and I think they're definitely they definitely want to help us think through it. And I think we had a good discussion as to what the scope is and is not, and kind of what we're expecting from them. And I think people were generally on board. So, yes, thank you for my grammar.
So I joined Jeff on the February 27th meeting, so I will use a Jeffism and say what Jeff said. But I would want to echo that it is a very qualified and engaged group of people. So I'm pleased with the group that we have. Along with Becky and city staff, I participated in the RFQ process for our Wydown restoration engineer. Despite my lack of qualification to do so, I appreciate the engagement. And then last evening, we had a CCF Wydown restoration committee meeting, very well attended. A large number of citizens are involved in this. I'm amazed by that. We covered a number of issues. I shared some general notes and questions with the mayor and David just to go through this. But in essence, they're real organized in terms of wanting in some communication plan with the engineering firm, communication in terms of the public, and making sure that it's in collaboration with the city. They know that they would like to establish, it may be more than one location for sculpture. 2 would be the most, but just to keep that in mind. And they just want to be sensitive in terms of making sure that they nail that down so that we're in sync. Fundraising is obviously a huge part of this, and they will be, it's important for CCF in general. And so the chairs of the various commissions on CCF will be having a meeting here in early April in order to make sure they're in alignment with that so that when the appeal goes out for Wydown, it's in concert with all other fundraising that they're doing. So I'm impressed by the people involved and how it's going.
Thank you.
I could mostly report on the meetings I've missed in the last 3 weeks. I will say before we left, Kami and I had a Ward 3 coffee, the February coffee, and you can tell I've been gone for a while because this Saturday we have our March Ward 3 coffee. So not much else to report other than in my neighborhood, the horror that was 515 South Central next to the back of Merrimack School. I'm happy to report that demolition has occurred and there's a new foundation coming out of the ground. And so it's very exciting. It's been a long eyesore for everyone who goes to Merrimack and the people who live on that street. So very excited to see that happen and glad to be back.
Welcome back.
I would just note, like Kami noted, how much of what we talked about at Parks and Rec was here, but a real emphasis that Tony shared with the group was the importance of moving forward on these lighting projects so that we use the grants and can apply for new ones. So when they get delayed, it really actually limits our ability to take advantage of that. So just appreciate the staff continuing to move forward on that. The Wydown Median Restoration Project was great. Do we have an update on that, or we'll be ready to share one like in a week or so with residents where we? Yeah, okay. So really looking forward to being able to communicate with residents that it is moving forward and how, so that we can show the progress that the staff has been making.
And we hope to have that design contract on the agenda at your next meeting, March 24th.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you. We had an Economic Development Committee meeting. It was mostly like just the second meeting and was really like information gathering still. Gary presented a bunch of information. So trying to get everybody kind of on the same, have the same foundation of information. And then I shared with many of you that I happened to be in Jeff City today at the Capitol and happened to be on the floor of the State House when a representative introduced the House Joint Resolution that proposes to phase out the income tax. And it was very interesting to hear his extreme optimism about how eliminating our income tax will greatly increase personal and business interest and investment in the state of Missouri and just really be an amazing growth driver. So I'm skeptical. We'll see. I mean, it seems incredibly likely that that's going to be on our ballots at some point. I guess I don't know how it's going to fare in the Senate, which can be harder, but anyways, I am not in favor of it because they're not actually acknowledging that they need to replace it. They just keep eliminating every tax. So it makes it hard for us to actually provide services.
Exactly.
I know you all know that. Anyways, I'll stop.
But he
Thank
was
you.
positive. Okay, I did go to the Missouri Stewardship Summit on March 4th, and I had the advantage of sitting next to Anna Crane, and every time something came up, it was proposed ordinance and all that, I'd look over at her and say, oh yeah, we got that. So, but it was really good. And they talked a lot about the importance of, you know, Brad Goss was there, the importance of keystone species, of diversity, and touched on not just that it's the right thing to do, but the financial benefits with stormwater and how you can control stormwater with native plantings, as well as just the health of the community, the data showing, or things like that. There's model ordinances there. They talked about, you know, Pat Kelly was there. He talked about the different grants that the park has. Trying to make sure we get rid of the invasives, then we have the diversity of the native plantings and how looking at, you know, individual resident ordinances, those types of things should be in there too, not just X percentage native or something else, but you know, the range of species that you're putting into your property. Gene Ponzi, of course, was there speaking on growing native and greenscaping. gardens and what else there. And important too, when we were leaving, this was at the Maryland Heights Rec Center. And not only did they have their EV chargers, but they had another section with preferred parking for people who had energy efficient transportation. So that's something that you don't even have to put in all the infrastructure for the EV charger. That was kind of it. It's just you have to put up the sign. So that was kind of neat as well. There's also a plan commission meeting, and the interesting thing there was there was a combination of the two lots over on North Beamiston and building a large residence, and there were concerns that, does this really belong in Clayton? And the discussion that we have nothing to control the size or the combining of lots, and is that something that we as a city want to consider in our coding, so that we don't have somebody merging the two lots and building something that, is it compatible with the neighborhood or not? It was a discussion. Everything was approved and the project is going forward, but there were concerns expressed.
All right. I second your motion for maximum lot sizes.
I just thought I did meet with, we have a new, I can't remember the name of it now. It's called the Clayton Chamber Collective, but they are definitely moving forward. I was very impressed with how far along they are. I met with Emily Bremer and Rob Whitney. So it was really impressive. I mean, they're really moving. They have a launch May 7th, I believe. Yeah, ClaytonChamberCollective.com is the website. So, but yeah, I'm just really impressed with how far they've come. And yeah, but I'd encourage you to look at the website. And I'm sure there'll be more information, but I believe May 7th was the big kickoff. For Shaw Park, we kind of had our last big meeting. I mean, the design is kind of essentially done. Not surprisingly, we're a little bit over budget, but we were able to find ways to reduce it to basically where we need to be. Elimination of maybe those VIP areas, potentially doing some pavers, like named pavers. So really some great donor opportunities for residents especially. But yes, I think as now it's kind of really time to dive in and think about donor opportunities from hopefully our corporate community, and then also, potentially our residents. So I am going to meet with CCF and have just started to think about moving forward with that. So definitely more to come with that. Yeah, probably not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure they want you digging. Something.
Can you clarify, because we're talking about the development of the construction bid documents, right?
Yeah.
And were the potential items identified for cost reduction, are they all still included as like options or alternates, or did anything fully get cut?
I think they're all pretty much alternates.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we leave that open to ourselves as we assess what we want to do as a council with our budget. And
yes, and I should have been more clear.
Thank
But
you.
yes, there were just a number of items identified that would be alternates to actually bring the cost down to something that was what was budgeted. So
thank you.
yeah. And the last thing I was going to mention was David and I did participate on a call. He did a great job. Everybody who was kind of interested in pursuing the study related to the fire authority was on a Zoom call, I guess, a few days after our last meeting. There's been a lot of interest, which is great. I think we're going to have a lot of participants, hopefully that will participate in funding the study. But that's all I have. David, I don't know if you want to add to that at all.
Just add to that a little bit. So we gave everyone basically until May 1st to decide whether or not they wanted to participate. So every city in St. Louis County that has a municipal fire department is really having that conversation at the moment. And it looks like we're going to have, I would say, the majority of those departments wanting to participate, at least in this initial study. So we would split that proportionally amongst all the cities. and really see whether or not it's feasible to consolidate or combine those departments in some way. See what kind of efficiencies might be gained and whether or not there's actual cost savings to doing something like that. But there is a lot of interest in it. Everybody's feeling financial pressure right now. And public safety is one of those drivers. So it's one of those areas that I think is kind of ripe for it. The other thing about the fire service is the fact that we do everything, together. There's so much mutual aid that's involved. There's all this joint training that's involved. So it just makes a lot of sense to kind of start there and have the conversation with fire. And I was just thrilled to see how receptive everybody was to just having that initial conversation about it, let alone, participation in the study. So more to come. We'll see how many people actually want to participate. And then what you'll have in front of you ultimately is an ordinance with a stack of intergovernmental agreements with all the other cities that want to participate. Somebody has to put out the RFP, and that will be us. But then everybody else will reimburse us for their share. And then we'll have a partnership as far as the steering committee is concerned with all those participating cities and the union. So it's the first time that the union and the cities and the fire departments, the individual shops, that everybody is working together on this. There's been efforts in the past where maybe the union put together some kind of model to try to merge things, or maybe cities were looking at combining different functions and kind of, dragging, so to speak, the union along. But this point in time, it's a little bit different, where everybody, I think, sees the value, and we're all doing this together. So it's great, and it's exciting.
Well,
Awesome.
County, David?
I'm sorry?
Cities, are these mostly mid-county?
The ones that are really interested tend to be in mid-county here. Now, we invited all the municipal fire departments, so you have some outliers like Hazelwood and Berkeley and Ferguson that aren't actually contiguous to the other cities. But everybody here that's linked up, and we're running calls together on a daily basis, all of those cities are looking to participate.
Yeah, I applaud your initiative and leadership of this. I think this is great. I'm curious, in terms of the firm that will actually do the study, is this an easy thing to do, to find a firm that's qualified to do this, or do you have somebody in mind already?
So there are only a few firms in the country that have taken on this sort of study before. You see the Fire Authority model on the West Coast. You see it in Salt Lake City. And so there were firms that put together all of those feasibility studies and help them build the models for those authorities. Those are the firms that we're going to be reaching out to. So I don't think we're going to have anybody local with that sort of expertise, but it is out there. We really got to look at those other states that don't use a fire district model, and they've gone this alternate path. So yeah, I'm excited to put out the RFP, and I think we're going to get a small handful of responses.
Great, thank you.
All right, thanks, everybody. A reminder that our discussion session is not March 20th. It's March 27th. So just make sure everybody has it correct, because it was originally March 20th, but next week is spring break. So just a reminder that our discussion session, we also have a meeting March 24th, but I just want to make sure everybody has the discussion session for March 27th.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. We will further discuss that. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, June.
Thanks, June.
Thank you. Sorry for the Wi-Fi.
No, you're okay.
That's okay.